YouTube fam, what's going on? It's your boy Mess Hall. Welcome to Mess Hall Digs as I bang the table and get the camera rocking. If you saw my little thumbnail, it says eBay is like pizza. Now, you may be familiar with the phrase where that kind of came from. And they're not talking about eBay and pizza. They're talking about something else in pizza. Something a little more intimate. You know what I'm saying? Before we begin on the content for the day, first of all, look, check out my fits though. I got the Cal tie-dye hoodie, right? Always representing the Bay Area where I'm from. Looking dipped as always. I just want to kind of give you some little pointers on margins and things of that nature, right? So I'll give you a good example. I went into Walgreens a few months back, and they were having a clearance sale, and you know your boy always sniffs out them clearance sales, and I never met a store I didn't like when it comes to clearance. So I went and checked it out. And they happen to have these pop Draculas on sale at Walgreens. Now they were $2.82 a piece. So they had 10 in stock at the time, so I bought all 10 of them. So of course I spent about $28.20. We'll call it $30. We'll say, yeah, boy spent $30 on the Draculas, right? So I ended up posting them all to eBay. And they sold in a week, all 10 of them. I ended up making about $20 profit. That's total profit in my pocket. And some people might say, well, $20 on 10, blah, 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 blah. Well, let's look at it this way. So if a friend or a coworker or a family member say, hey, man, can I borrow $30 on Friday? And I'll pay you back $50 next Friday. Now, of course, the scenario, they're a trusty source and you know they're going to pay you back. I would give you $30 every Friday if I knew you were going to give me $50 back the next Friday. I would do that every time. So even if this is the only sales that I made for that week, you know, I'm still making $20. $20 that I wouldn't normally have. You know what $20 will get you? Well, I drive a big Chevy truck, so only give me about half tank gas, but half tank of gas is something, right? I go to the grocery store. I get me a T-bone steak, bag of instant rice, can of corn, bag of salad mix. I got dinner for the night. $20. So eBay is like pizza. Because when it's good, it's good. But when it's bad, it's still pretty good. Especially if you're a part-time reseller. How I got my start in this whole game was my son has a PlayStation. And I noticed he had a bunch of games just laying around that he didn't play with anymore. So I went in there and I took inventory and I was like, hey man, do you play this game anymore? Do you play this one anymore? And you know how it is when you try to take games to GameStop, you know, you're getting like $1.25 a game at GameStop. And I wasn't down with that. So, you know, I had heard, you know, I'd been on eBay years and years ago trying to sell old baseball cards. And because, you know, if you're married, you know, when wives see old baseball cards, for some reason, they freak out, bruh. They freak out when they see old baseball cards. Like, we're not allowed to have them anymore when you get married. So I was trying to do my wife a solid and get rid of my baseball cards. So I went on eBay. It's about 8 years ago. But the problem with me is all the cards I collected back in the day were players that no one cares about. I was a fan of Will Clark and Tim Hardaway and Chris Mullin. You know, they're not worth a whole lot. So I was struggling on the eBay to try to get rid of my sports cards. But because I knew about eBay and I knew about these new platforms coming out like Mercari and Poshmark, I opened up a Mercari account and see how much these games my son don't play with anymore we're going for. And I ended up doing a big lot of about 12 games on Mercari. And they sold for about $70. So I was like, So GameStop would have gave me about $9.25, but Mercari I got 70 for them. So I packed them up and shipped them out. And I said, you might have something here. And that's how I recommend all of you start. All of you should start with just stuff laying around your house. Instead of bagging it all up, doing spring cleaning here in a couple months, and donating it off to Goodwill, why don't you just look up the stuff that you have that you would normally bag up and get rid of, and go on Mercari or Poshmark or eBay and see what your stuff is worth. It might be a good thing to check that out. Check out your old clothes. Like me, I have a bunch of old Affliction shirts. Affliction used to be my brand 10 years ago. I was afflictioned out. I was dipped wearing Affliction. And now, I moved on a couple of different weird styles. And I sold all my Affliction shirts. All of them. And they sell pretty fast. And you'd be surprised. You get $20, $25 for an Affliction shirt. These are shirts I would have just thrown in the bin and dropped off at the Goodwill. So, before you drop it, try to shop it. Try to see what it'll go for. All right? So, that's my little nugget for today. And hopefully you'll take my advice and know that even when you're making these small margins, it's still something. Don't get greedy. Don't be greedy. Don't say things like, well, if I ain't gonna buy it for $1 and it's not gonna sell for 70, I don't want to do it. Don't have that attitude. All right. I buy stuff for $1, I'll sell it for $5. I buy stuff for $3, I'll sell it for $9. I don't care. Money is money. As long as I'm making a profit, you'll never go broke. If you're making a profit, you'll never go broke. Remember that. Holla at your boy.